We are live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Sorry for being late here. And here I am with yet another talk show. I'm Aradhana Tewari, the founder of Be the Change page. So uh, I just wanted you guys to introduce to this talk show what it is all about. Today is going to be a different talk show. Today is all about a men's gathering, which was for the first time on this platform. What is it to be a man on this planet, and what is it being a man in India, especially? So I'm just going to be talking to very amazing three men. I opted for four. One of had to go for an emergency, so would not be possible today. But yet, and Be the Change talk show for me is talk show where I invite people for me who they are celebrities, because they are the people who actually had the courage to follow their heart. They're knowing and they know something different, and they're not willing to fix themselves and put themselves in just the box and live their entire lives from that space. They have the courage to stand out and say out loud in the world that we know something different. Come follow us. Even if you don't follow us, we are following our knowing, and they are the actually true leaders of their own lives. So this really invites me. Every story opens a different world for me. Every person who comes on this talk show opens a very different world in my world, and I'm sure it opens up for everybody who's a listener here. So in case you guys are any kind of person who has actually followed their heart, and for me, I will call you as a celebrity again. And if you feel and you wanted to be a celebrity and you have nobody is acknowledged, would you acknowledge that today and get in connect with us to get you on the talk shows here on every Sunday? And today is a little different show. Today I'm starting a new series with men. I am really, really fond of men, and I really acknowledge them and their presence. That makes me more special on this planet. So I just wanted to hear what men are, what do men have to say, and what do men know special? Because we have been hearing women a lot, and for me, there's no separation between a man and a woman. We are just different. So just wanted to have a men's perspective of how to live, what is it to be a man, and share what do they know and what big celebrities are they of the world, and how they are changing in their own manner being a man, just not being somebody, a technical engineer or a chef or a master, but just as who they are, how they are shifting and changing the world, and what special do they know. So that is what it is all about. I won't take much of time as I'm already late today because of our technical issues. So I would like to introduce you to the three men. We have three very charming men joining us from Bangalore, Delhi, and Jaipur. We have Datta Tarya, who loves working with people and believes that anything is possible in life. Then we have Hunar Chaturvedi, who's a client servicing professional and a massive lover of cars. And we have Dhruv Tewari, who is a mechanical engineer, a creative problem solver, as well as a poet. We also had Nitin Dara, who was joining us, but due to some personal emergency, he's not been able to make it today. So I welcome along with me, welcome our guest to be ever be the first, be the change men's gathering here. So I welcome you all, Datu, Dhruv, and Hunar. Can I have you online, guys?
Awesome. So
Thank you, guys. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for saying and being that courageous ones to finally say yes to the first ever men's gathering on Be the Change. And you are my first guinea pigs of the change. And I'm so glad you guys here. Thank you for being here. So I'll pass the baton to each one of you to introduce yourself, who you be, what you be, and then I'll take the talk show further. Yeah, Datu, let's start.
awesome. Thank you so much, Aradhana. I mean, so if you watched us, or if you're Aradhana's friend, and if you already watched us on one of our other million pages, we are repeating this. I mean, we went live on a different page, and this is just a take two. So thank you so much. As I did mention the last time as well, it's just so cool that you've given us created this platform for all of us, and even the interviews you've done in the past where you are allowing people to come on and share their story with the world, and it's such an empowered, great feeling to be a celebrity. So thank you so much, and yeah, over to you, gentlemen, if you guys would like to say something.
Mm, sure, I'll go. Well, I've seen many of these talk shows. Happens every Sunday at my home, and I hear all about them over lunch mostly. So it's pretty exciting. I think the topic is pretty cool. I'm kind of scared, but also pretty excited to see what questions do come up. But I think it'll be a great conversation. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'll pass it on to
Thank you.
the next person.
Hunar.
Hi, good evening. So this is Hunar.
life's been kind, and it's brought us all here in these times. So it's I think it's a great gesture to bring forth all that we have to share with each other.
Yeah.
So that's it, Aradhana. Over to
Thank
you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for saying yes to this talk show and be that courageous one. And so, the whole idea of this Be the Change talk show is always about behind the scenes, as you are the celebrities on the seat today. And what is the life behind the camera for you, all the celebrities? So, I just would like you, and the topic today is what is it to be a man in India and on the planet right now? So what, and you are all coming from a very different backgrounds. And I would like you guys to start with your personal lives, where you're coming from, and what was it for you to be a man? And was there a separation in your world to be a man and a woman? Because for my world, there has never been a separation. It's just that we are different people. Yet there are a lot of people that we have grown up. There are a lot of projections and expectations that we grow up in this world. So I'm very curious to know what is it to be a man on this planet. And I'm sure you have three different backgrounds and I have three different perspectives of it. So I will let Dattu start with it and then we'll take it over.
Awesome. So, yeah, I mean, it's three different people and three different stories, but then I'll keep it as short as possible and as um, succinct and clear as possible. So I was someone who, from a very young age, knew that there was a very different reality possible. And what I saw around me is my life. Like, I know we all have had stories, we all have had shortcomings, we all have had different things that probably were not very comfortable things in our life, and those things actually kind of always steered me to exploring more and learning more about life, right? Like, how does life really work? And I started investing in studying more about learning more about life principles, and from a space of really trying to get stuff sorted for me very many years ago. And along the way, so by education, I studied public relations and marketing, and I did the whole corporate thing for a couple of years, and I had a lot of fun when I did that. But one of the things that I saw along the way was my passion, or my love for really exploring more about what the mind really is and how can you really master it, because I know that it's a possibility, and you can really have a wonderful exuberant living here, and it doesn't have to be like, you do not have to be the effect of your circumstances. And that was one of the things that really motivated me, and I studied quite a lot. And today I am an empowerment coach and a facilitator. I live in Bangalore city, the same land that gets you dosas and idlis and the pub capital of the country, and so much more. I love being here, and I get to work with such fantastic people across the world, where we get together, and every single thing that looks like an impossibility, we work towards changing that. So that's, I mean, it's been a long ass journey with a
Yeah.
lot of
No,
different
my
things.
question
Yeah.
here would be, Dattu, would be, was it that you knew that you're a man? Did you knew you're a boy? Was it like when you were born,
Oh
was
my
it that
God.
you're a man?
Yeah. So, yeah, so cool. So it was like, even like while growing up, as I was mentioning just some time ago, that even while I was growing up, I knew that I didn't fit in, you know. To be a man, the reference of men that I had around me, like, for example, I grew up with a dad who wasn't exactly very kind. And I came from a family that where, my mom did experience a lot of abuse. And so my reference of men was, oh my God, if you have to be a man, you've got to be, someone who is
Right.
always angry, and someone who always rah, 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 rah. And that was exactly what I saw around me. And I didn't authentically feel that at all times. And I always thought I was wrong. I always thought I was, like, not man enough. Or I thought, and it's looked at like, if you're not willing to, like, if you're a man, and if you go out in the world and you speak about how you feel or what you really are, your sexuality is questioned. Like, you're either, they ask, oh my God, are you gay? Or it becomes, oh, it's too sissy or too someone else. So I did go through a lot of that. But something that I knew very, very clearly from a very long time before all of this principles, and having to work with people who kind of, are supporters and who actually see a different possibility, was I knew that, what, things don't have to be that black and white. Like, it doesn't have to be like, men aren't just what they're projected to be. like there's such an image of a man that's put out in this world today, that if you're a man, you've got to, like, drink 4 glasses of beer and only talk about or 40 glasses of beer, however you and whatever you drink, or and and only talk about women at all times, and play football or play cricket, and that's it, and there's nothing else, because you're not allowed to be anything beyond that. So
Wow.
it
That is
was.
such an information. Like, wow, that's a wow in my world. That I never thought that men could talk about women all the time. I always thought they talked about money and how many, where up they're reaching in stock market and politics. And, that's a lot of news. Thank you. I think that really makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, more the money, it becomes about who can you bang, like the more the money you have, like, it's a different class of people. I mean, that was my experience, like, even while growing up in college, or it was very, how do I say, if it wasn't that, then you are a misfit. Like, you're out, like, you're not allowed in many circles, you're not allowed to be a part of many conversations, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, so those things were things that I actually used for my advantage. And then one of the things that I'm just gonna go all out and
No,
just
so
look
I would really like first ask the same point of view here. What Hunar and Dhruv has to say, was it that they also came up with the same point of view, or what they had a different impact when they were growing up as a man? Then we'll come to the
cool.
story.
Okay.
Yeah, Hunar, go ahead. What do you have to add there? What is it to be a man for you when you were growing up? What was it like?
I agree with him. So basically, as boys, we are brought up with certain projections of life. But as the wheel goes on, like everybody of you right now is like a page for my book. That's my life.
Yeah.
So some pages somewhere took me to reality. Like the head of the family is like a man. That's what we were taught about the patriarchal system. So while Datta also began his narration, he first took up his father,
Yeah.
right? Because that is one figure that we always we took for granted कि ये हमारा flag है इसके पीछे चलना है.
Right.
But as the experiences unfold in life, I realized that being head of family it's not nothing to do with being a man or woman. It's something more of a responsibility kind of thing that you take up, or maybe the right decision at the right time. What makes you keep your head held high up into that situations is what makes you the head of the pack. Okay. Now, when it comes to boys to man, or like when did we realize that oh, now this is the transition happening?
Yeah.
Being situations that have exposed us on our own, when the threat had actually put us against the wall, कि अब तो हुनर तुम ही हो जो करना तुम करो.
Wow.
That moment is what made us the man in us, whatever we are.
Wow.
But
So it's
yes,
like is it that it really hits at a very young age that you are a man or you're a boy or you're different than a woman. I mean, is that the thing that you get projected with, or is it that you pick up?
okay, so let's say I'll put it in a very subtle way. Till the time we are dependent on our parents or on our household, okay, we are smeared upon with the cultural prevalence, कि ये काम लड़कियों का है, ये लड़कों का है, and you have to act accordingly. So Datta was right. If in your school time you don't talk of sports, if you don't talk of outdoor activities, so you're not a typical boy that one is raising. Okay, but there is one thing that I would differ with Datta on. One thing is, I don't think we kids are any which way, like unfit or fit to a community, because you can choose anyone.
Did you know that at young age?
Yeah, I did. I was never a group person.
Mm-hmm.
I was never a group person.
Wow.
I was a solo person. So while my peer, my colleagues, they were all into group sports, nationals karke aage, sab karke aage, I was into mountaineering and trekking. It takes a very different kind of approach towards it.
Yeah.
So
No, like, thank you for saying that, because that's what exactly what I was getting to. Because it's like, people, like, when you are in a situation like that, when you do not feel a part of a pact, how many guys do we know who've gotten to spend only time with them, and they call it being an introvert, and they call it being, and I was the opposite of it. Like, I was nothing but an introvert. So, like, I'll talk about it when, but thank you for saying that. Like, that was Yeah.
So to wrap it up, I just
Um,
have to say that, I mean, it is an apology to all the women and all people in the world that history has been written by a man. Okay. So like honestly, I when I feel depressed or I'm despair, so I would any given day pick up Subhash Chandra Bose or Winston Churchill, right? Because I don't see that women have been documented. उन्होंने भी बहुत कुछ काम किया है, definite बात है. I mean, there has been Madam Curie, but उनकी like slapstick उनकी कोई चीजें बाहर नहीं आती हैं. So I would say it is a flaw in a way, like we've been brought up.
Right.
So there's man or woman अब कुछ बचा नहीं है, we
So
all are
what,
born equals.
so what does Dhruv has to add to it? Dhruv, what has been your
well,
experience while growing up as a boy, as a man?
well, I kind of have to disagree to one or two of the points being, like as you said that, being in a pack or, being involved in sports, so on and so forth, is very important and it's supposed to be the norm to be a fit in society of being a man. I had that experience until 12th grade. I won't lie, like being in Delhi, being in Mount Barakamba, you had to act in a certain way. You had to be a football team player, so on and so forth, to project yourself as a guy. But I think when I went to uni, I think luckily I found a group of friends after a lot of things, after a lot of incidents and so on and so forth. But I found a group of friends where even us as guys, we would open up a beer and share our feelings, like hands down, sit down, talk about existentialism, so on and so forth. And that's where I disagree that it always has to be that way. I feel like our Indian society is partly responsible for it. Like ladka hai to engineer banega, doctor banega, so on and so forth. They always have that projection, like hard and strong you got to
But
be.
no, that my question there was Dhruv, that was, I get that it's now different, and I'm sure it's different for Dattu and
Mm,
it's different for Hunar right now. But it is
yeah.
like when you were growing up, what projection did you grow up? Was it that was there a pressure in your world that you're a man or you're a boy or you're different than a woman in the house or in your friend circles? Was it a pressure on you? Was it a joy for you? What was it that you grew up with? To
To
be
be
honest.
very honest, like being from an affluent family, being a guy had its perks, which I very late realized that I took these things for granted. For a simple situation like a sleepover, or going out partying late at night. Me being a guy, I always had it the easy way, like, and I couldn't ever understand half the times that women would be like, "No, mere parents nail over," and I'm like, I don't know how that feels because for my parents, I'm always secure. And take it from me, I had overprotective parents. Yet I still had more freedom than even the most liberal parents of women, which was a creating factor, like differentiating factor. I think guys have it easy in some ways, but I also feel women have it easy in the other ways. So there is always that give and
Wow,
take.
that is amazing.
But
So yeah, so it's so amazing to see how you three different men have been brought up, and there are certain common factors between you. So I would say so. I mean, I get that there is. I think this is the same story that I, being a woman sitting here, kind of get it, and it's no different. And I always realized that there was not much of a separation, as that it has been projected in our world to be a different, that a man is way different than a woman. I think it's all our perspectives that we have been brought up, and we have chosen to be brought up. So now what do you say now? What does how's it when you've grown up, guys? Now you've grown up to a different went to the colleges when you're a grown up man now from a boy. How is that first impact of when you were bringing up and as what Manoj just said, that the day came and when you realize that you're a man. So how is that different to than your childhood, and does it really impact on your life to be a man or a woman? And are you actually comfortable in your skins as men? Like, yeah, that go ahead. Or Hona, whoever wants to add into it.
So as I was completing, like what I
Yeah.
was saying a while ago, that from there, even through my childhood, like the whole idea of sharing what I shared was not from the space of saying I didn't have, I've as I said, I've been the opposite of what an introvert actually is in the world, and I've always had a set of people who were supportive, and I had my own different reality, right? But as I was mentioning a while ago, it took me many experiences to actually make this the study of life, the study of understanding like how really things work as my profession today. That's what I do full time. But one of the things that I've kind of come to realize, one of the things that I truly believe in is it actually doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It's very easy for you to look at the level of, how do I say, weaknesses, strengths, problems that come with either of the sexes. You know, being someone who works with people, I meet so many women who say that it's always this certain way for women. You know, like there's that much amount of choice you have, there's that much control, depending, doesn't depend, I mean, it doesn't matter what your financial situation is, or you know, whether whatever class, whatever thing. And as a man, there is a certain expectation out of you to be a certain way, and you cannot like really deviate. But that, as even Hunar was mentioning a while ago, like that's melting and that's changing, and today it really doesn't matter. I mean, gone are those days where I feel like even probably 50, 80, 100, 30, 40, 50 years ago, it was so prevalent, like um, the role that you played because of your gender was such a loud, strong thing. And today it's a totally different reality where there are, as Dhruv said, like we all do have those places where, you know, you can actually allow yourself to be with those people around you. So I mean, there were a lot of things that reached, I mean, a lot of things that I had to like kind of work on and like get different perspectives off to kind of have that reality in mind. And yeah, I mean, I want the two of you to also speak before I share a couple of other things. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah. Uh, First of all, it just hit me. I mean, Aradhana, wonderful ensemble of people. Okay, so you have asked us a question, and three different people from different ages. You know, they have their own perspective about it.
Yeah.
So it's like
So
revisiting the
beautiful.
past also.
It is so beautiful. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, why did I not do this earlier? Like, why did I not have more
Yeah,
people on the planet here on the show?
yeah,
Yeah.
and what you're doing right now, you know, basically it is a very good example of how to face the basic of our questions and our reservations.
Yeah.
So the very basic question of yours, you know, being a man, being a woman. So we all are dealing with a typecast system over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's agree with that. That there's a typecast that we've been brought up with. Okay, so अभी जो बात दत्ता ने बताई थी being introvert and stuff. So it again, I think it has a very step by step thing that again Dhruv is in that zone right now, and Datta and me probably we have crossed that space. That was adolescence.
Yeah.
So while we were witness, you know, to what is happening around us, it was we were kids, you know, like we had to be fed, we had to be dressed up. When we learned, you know, कि मेरे कपड़े बाहर के कौन से घर के कौन से, then we were confused कि साला हमें कोई कैसे देख रहा है. You know, so those third world questions come into play.
Yeah.
अभी ध्रुव का सोचना ये है कि एक बेयर को मैं शेयर भी करूंगा तो उसकी क्या क्या प्रोजेक्शंस आएंगी. So it is very funny when we have bears, हमें दूसरा बंदा देख के सोच के पूछता है कि यार गाड़ी ये चलाएगा क्या अब. You know, I feel the same even when a woman does it.
Yeah, correct.
क्योंकि ultimately problem बंदे बंदी में नहीं है, problem bear में है.
Right. Problem is not you. Problem is outside you, right? Thank
Yeah.
you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. That is really remains a ton. So it's not about being a man and a woman, which I'm probably getting in. And I'm so glad that I'm doing this today. It's like I'm actually
I'm thankful.
so tearful within myself that wow, you know, I always knew there is no separation. It's just that we have been brought up, we are just different as a man and a woman. But there is so much of a projection and so much of a separation in our world that's going on. Just because and how much we are the you know that whole energy of the society is kind of taking. It's not the man and the woman, the whole stigma is taking the benefit of it, which is like I choose to change it from these talk shows and wonder what else is possible. It is like my world is already melting and I knew something special about men. I'm happy that I'm here talking to you guys. Yeah. Yeah.
Just one more thing to add. I mean, the only good thing from my past that I think, you know, which makes us maybe worthy of being called a man, it is a combination of mannerism and etiquettes, you know, that we have received from our people. So I totally am very thankful to my mother. So एक basic expectation जो I think मैं पूरी किसी कर सकता हूँ वो ये है कि the etiquette system, the value system is so strong. So even if nothing is working, you know, like one can rely on us as a projected man, what a picture they have in their minds.
Right.
So वहाँ थोड़ा idealistic हो सकते हैं, मैं तो रहता हूँ, and
Right.
I don't think उसके अलावा कुछ relevant है.
So that has
Really.
nothing to do with the being a man and a woman, right? That is just your personal this thing.
Yeah.
What do you say? So what does Dhruv has to add to it? Yes, Dhruv.
You know, what you just said and like what you guys discussed, I feel is what's changing and what was the initial problem with society. You know, as you said, like the only thing you learn from being a man is that, okay, I can uphold a certain amount of etiquettes or I can take care of myself and so on. But I think it should be the very same idealistically for women as well. They should be thinking the same way as we are thinking right now, you know, like the privilege of being a man or woman. And I feel it's these stereotypes that men have for women and women have for men that's creating this disparity. Like,
So do you guys get that at any given point of time that you feel that there's a question also that you feel limited by being a man? When you say that you know women should
there
do you
is,
get that?
there is, it's more along the lines for being taken for granted. You know, that's the problem. That's the disadvantage of being a man. I feel like a man or a woman would put in the same amount of hard work to achieve the same thing. A man gets a job. Oh yeah, he should have gotten a job. What was he doing until now? But if a woman gets a job in today's date, because we are trying to, you know, empower women, they're like, oh, great, kudos to you. So I feel like there are certain disadvantages in that way that a man can do whatever, but it's like, okay, ये तो तुम्हें करना ही चाहिए था. अभी तक क्यों नहीं कर
like
रहे
a
थे?
lot
But
of granted thing. Like, thank you for saying that. Another thing that I just want to quickly add here is, you know, this guy called Gary Douglas, and if you're on this page, I'm sure you may have kind of come across him or you know of him. Now that guy is a revolutionary. Okay, he's written some phenomenal books. There's a guy called Dr. Dane as well, who's the co-founder, who's written books on what is it to be a man. So there's a book called The Gentleman's Club, and there's this beautiful book called Being the Lady. I mean, like The Lady, right? And one of the things that they discussed in that was how in the 1980s, 1990s, there was this women's liberation movement that came along, where people wanted to fight for feminism and wanted to show the world how correct it is that, you know, women are equal to men, and how they've gone through so much of whatever they have gone through, that it is like, you know, there was this thing of fight that came about. And that is something which I've seen was kind of the trend. Even like there is a huge part of the society which still is trying to fight for something. One of the things that I learned, and one of the things that I really want to invite everyone to hear, is for you to know that there is no need for that fight. Like, what that fight does is it only creates more and more separation, and it only creates more and more like more and more of you to prove how right or wrong you are. And 100%, as Hunar and Dhruv were mentioning a while ago, although it was a certain way, we found our own realities in our own limited ways, which was, we found a set of people who are, you know, not really someone who pushed us into being a typecast, stereotype, whatever. Similarly, the thing that the thing that Dr. Dane shared in one of the classes that I want to mention is, he said that if you are around people who are always judging you, okay, if you are people who are mean, nasty, horrible, abusive, if you're going to try to see the beauty in them, if you're going to try to make them nice, kind, and basically what you would like your life to be, you're wasting your time. You got to start asking for those that actually vibe with you the way you vibe. And that doesn't, so when I say vibe with you the way you vibe, what I'm really saying is who have that reality as you do, like who see the world the way you do. So how, like, what if we didn't try to fix the people who are around us, to try to understand us, to try to become how do I say, who got us, and who actually, like, you know, we saw, like, you know, the, like, that it fit. But what if we started asking for those people, because they do exist. Like, there are men in this world who aren't only interested to compete with you.
Yeah.
Like, that exists. Like, there are men in this
Thank
world
you for
who,
saying that.
yeah.
So I totally, thanks for bringing that up, and that was what I wanted to go to. It's like I totally get, you all here are sitting, as I said, the celebrities of this show today, that you definitely know something different, and like talking to you, hearing you already is melting so many, separations. And as you said, that we have to vibe with our own tribe. So
Yeah.
that is a choice and a possibility present. So there are kind of a kind men like you on the planet, right? So it doesn't mean that men don't exist with this. And what is more projected is that kind of a series of men, what you were talking about, that was like, who are or want to be that male chauvinist, who want to be like, I am the man.
And they exist.
Yeah, and they do it, and they really, really exist. So so it is, so this show definitely brings up that not every man is that.
Exactly.
Right. So all the projections and expectations that we have projected on you is also somewhere I see is our how we have been brought up as a woman, who are been projecting at you guys. Right. So it's both ways. So it's, I guess, what you want to receive and what we want to project. And it is, I always say that you see what you want to see. So I guess it's with the men folk too. It's how you want to see and invite that kind of a tribe in your world. So I don't know, Dhruv wants to add something to that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All I want to add is, I feel like, those stereotypical men you are talking about, they are either trying to hide from something or run from something, for the simple reason every so-called grown-up man is their respective mama's boy. They've always been
Oh, he
playing.
finally
They've
said
been
it.
playing. They played. They cried. They got upset about marks. They did everything. It's just they've grown up. Either they're hiding. They're trying to be someone, something else to show to the world. But I feel like, to all the women, go crack them. Like, I feel like you play with their hair for a few minutes and they'll start crying on your lap. So I feel like every man has that side to them. I feel low key somewhere
Absolutely.
deep down.
There's this saying that says every man just requires that, a nice British nanny. And if you like, the keys of every man is in a woman's hand, and she just, as you said, like, ruffle the hair and everything. I mean, I
Yeah,
would say that's so cool.
That is so cute. So all the women listening here and who are really looking for cracking that code, the guys have cracked it for you, made it very easy. What do you say, Hunar? What do you have to add there?
I mean, great things have been spoken. I mean, in the last 5 minutes, I have been listening to all of you. So yeah, Datta, it's a very welcome statement. Like, actually, feminism का concern होना ही नहीं चाहिए किसी को.
Yeah.
ये सब बेवकूफी की बातें हैं कि दो जने इकट्ठे होकर फेमिनिज्म प्रमोट करेंगे, फिर ये फीमेल को बचा लेंगे. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है.
Yeah.
They have been doing their stuff since they've been there. Okay.
Yeah.
तो ये खामखा की वही स्टीरियोटाइपिंग को बढ़ावा देने की बात है कि फेमिनिज्म को हम बचाएंगे. You are no one to do that, right?
Right.
It is.
So it is not. So what if it's not bachana, Hunar? What is it, bachana? It's like acknowledgement is what we were talking, right?
देखो आराधना, बात वही है ना. जो चीज है ही नहीं, आप उसको कैसे बचाओगे आप? I mean, were we born with that label कि man should do this or women should do this?
No.
We were born equals, right?
Correct. Exactly.
तो आप एक्सपोज तो होने दो.
Yeah.
अगर आज हमारे सब चारों की गोद में बच्चा हो, हम उसको पानी में छोड़ देंगे, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि एक मेल साइड में तैरेगा, एक फीमेल साइड में तैरेगा.
Correct. Yeah. So separation is created by us here.
वो हमारी बेवकूफियां हैं. Okay. अब second question is कि again I would come to the same point. What makes us a man?
Yes. What makes you a man?
I mean, इंदिरा गांधी भी रही है इस धरती पे, ठीक है, मार्गरेट थैचर भी रही है इस धरती पे, and they probably did better job than men, right? अब बात करते हैं कि स्टीरियोटाइपिंग है उसका कहाँ से एंड होता है, कहाँ शुरू होता है. See, the change and example starts with us. It might not be a leap and a go, but it will be a very small step. But it is very important that our young ones are exposed to that kind of maybe a thinking fabric. Okay, that you need not worry about anything. Just do your stuff. Just do your stuff. आज पूरे टीवी पे, पूरे इंटरनेट पे कुकिंग का मतलब हिस्टीरिया है, एक मीनिया है. Cooking was earlier looked down upon.
True.
And today you know more males than females in that vertical.
True that.
So are you looking at it ki double standard ki limit kya hai?
Yeah.
There's just something I'd like to add here,
Yeah.
and I may be totally wrong, but in my opinion, I don't think men and women are equal, because I personally don't think that they are part of an equation, and this is 50% and this is 50%, I feel like, what if we didn't try to, like, that's my thing, like, what if a man doesn't try to be equal to a woman, or a woman tries to be equal to a man? What if you truly embrace the difference that you are, and like, you do not have to, like, I know so many people, like, relationships, they come and they're like, I'll only know if my husband truly loves me if he starts cooking for me. you know if the damn guy doesn't know how to cook, is that the only way to show you that he loves you? That guy may be good at going
Correct.
and doing 10 other different things, but, like, what if we gave ourselves the permission to not be equal to someone or something, to
Correct.
prove our worth? And that is exactly what feminism, that is exactly what any kind of activism is really creating in the world, right?
Correct.
My appeal, my invitation, like, to everyone who's watching, is to kind of, like have this thing about, like, just really ask yourself, is there a part of you that's still trying to be equal to someone? you know
Yeah.
and what if that wasn't really applicable, necessary, and true anymore?
Yes. So beautifully put that way. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Equal is the lesser bad actually. अपन ये नहीं कह सकते ना कि मैं इनसे इतना अच्छा हूँ, ये मुझसे इतने अच्छे हैं. So
yeah.
equal is the
Yeah.
equal.
And that's very, very well put by Datu, that what, we don't have to actually fight for equal. What if we acknowledge what we are? So all the projections that have been put. So what is it, that one thing that you guys think would be a step forward to change this whole gap and to change the stereotype thought process of this society and the reality that we are living in? Yes.
Simple thing. Live and let live. Please stop judging each other, yourself. Just chill. Like, I don't think it's gonna be a better message than this, because I feel like everyone's either trying to be better than the respective male or female or someone under you, over you. Just chill, dude. No one gives two shits. Just do
Exactly.
you. Like, I feel that's the only advice.
But
Because I don't think that male female thing should come into this equation. What can we do? I think it's all humans. Just chill. Like, promote humanitarianism rather than feminism or male chauvinism. Just be equal, dude. It's
we
not
have
that
so
hard.
many topics. It's amazing how people are responding to this talk show. It's like, I'm so grateful that you guys are here. It's like, you have so many questions, you have so many marriage, you have love affairs, we have kids to talk. I guess I'll have to keep going with this talk show forever. Like, invite you more men here and know, because how the world is so curious to know about you. Can you acknowledge that, so important, that
Oh yeah.
you are a rare species, that people are really, really desiring to know your value. I'm loving it. Thank you. Just wanted to input that thing in your words right now. So there's a lot of questions around marriage. If you guys want to, what topic would you like to right now pick? Marriage or kids?
I'm a
What
kid
about
myself.
I
I'm not trying to
really,
talk about marriage out here.
I really like what Dhruv said. Like, even my two bits would be, what if the only thing you really kind of focused on was getting happy?
Yes.
And no matter what, like, if that was you, like, doing whatever, like, you just get happy, and then I think that's just
I'll
sorts
take
the
care.
rest of everything else. And yeah, so that was, thank you for saying it. That's another thing, like, Gary jokes about how a man's world is so simple. Like, he speaks about, like, if you really look at into, like, you saw the simplicity with which Dhruv just said, it's just chill, like, nobody gives a fuck. But that's exactly what it is. What if this wasn't some big puzzle that one needs to solve, and what if your job was to just get really happy, and that's it?
Wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful, actually, guys. I think I can get kind of carry on and on, but I think I will kind of sum it up here today for today. That yes, just make it simple, just live it on, and just chill. And it is what you. What I get is, there is no separations. There's nothing, and this is all we are holding. If we actually give up that energy and of the separation away, and actually start receiving each other with total gratitude of each other, being participating and being the partners and being hand in hand carrying this reality, it would be a very different world. I think it's day one, step one towards it from my end, and wonder what else is possible. Anything that you guys, before you guys go away, what one thing that would you like to say for to be the man on the planet, and how to give up that separation of a man and a woman?
You have given me a very good takeaway today. And thank you, Dhruv. Thank you, Datta. Thank you, Aradhana.
For sure.
I mean, your question was, does being a man limit you?
Yeah, that was an
I
answer.
think nothing does.
Nothing does. Thank you. I love that.
Nothing does. Really, really, nothing does.
That was amazing.
I mean, that's one way to start the change. Being a man or woman, does it limit you? It just does not limit you. It brings its own perks.
Beautiful. How about yes, true.
Give it I mean, I feel like just maintain peace, like be with your families, just chill about it. And I think stop thinking about is, am I talking to a man or a woman? Talking to another human, talk like that, speak what you might not hear back. If you hear it, you won't get offended. I think we'd all be good. Just stop thinking so much about what I can say or what I can't. Just try it out. Men are also humans, women are also humans. Men feel and women are also strong. Please stop thinking about if I'm a man, I'm this, or if I'm a woman, I'm this. Please, that's it. I think.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yes, that's what would you like?
More of this in the world. I mean, my two bits would be just like how much more ease can all of our lives be if we just drop the fight. This is not a battle. This is not a thing to prove who is better, who is worse. Of course, you will find people who are very driven, committed, have organizations that are committed to showing how one is better than the other and how is worse, like how one is bad and blah blah blah. But like what if we really dropped the fight, like all of us, and like really chilled, as Dhruv said.
Just quit it and get money. Just quit it and concentrate on money, concentrate on traveling. Why the hell do you have to think about these things in life? There's so many better things.
Guys, this is it. This is it. How a man can make your life so simple and beautiful. And I've always acknowledged that about Gary and Dane, who are the founders and co-founders of Access. Yes, and their terms of English is like how a man's English is very simple. What they say, they mean it, and the woman English is what she says doesn't mean it. So what if we actually acknowledge this beautiful part of each other and go hand in hand, and not from the space of separation as these guys think said, and not from the space of thinking, what from the space of humanity, just from acknowledging that we just are different and we are beautiful. I wonder where can we take this journey forward. And I'm so glad that you all men had that courage to show up here and share your viewpoints. And I'm sure it's creating a different reality already. So thank you.
We'll do this again, huh? We'll do this again.
Yes, we will.
I'm good. I'm good.
We will soon come up.
Thank you, Dhruv. Thank you so much, Aradhana.
Oh, thank you, Datta. Thank
Good night,
you.
guys. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, my team.
night.
Thank you, everybody was here to listen to this. And please share if it was fruitful and it really made a difference in your life. And you are all welcome if you guys want to join us. Just mail us, message us onto the team, and we'll be happy to take you on these talk shows. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, team. Bye-bye.